to you live on this very, very important day. It's the day that we see President-elect Cyril Ramaphosa inaugurated here at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. And what a road it has been to these elections. I mean, certainly to this day, rather, with months of preparation, some for years of preparations coming to the elections that led us to this day. Some new entrants as well on the political landscape. One of them, of course, being Mzansi. And to tell us more about how they are feeling about today, about how they've done in these elections, and certainly what's next for them in the formation of this government of national unity, I am joined by Mzansi leader, Mr. Songezo Zibi. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Naledi. Thanks for having me on.
Good. It's really good to have you with us. How are you feeling about today? Are you excited? Are you concerned? Is this a government of national unity moving in the right direction as we inaugurate our president today?
Look, the first thing that I'm celebrating today is our democracy, and this is the second last part in a tradition, I think, that begins with the election campaign and the election itself, where South Africans get to hear from all political leaders, where it's free to participate. Then after the election is a declaration of the result. That's also really important. The election of a speaker, deputy speaker, and a president in parliament, the inauguration here, and then there's going to be the announcement of cabinet. It's very important that South Africans do not take these things for granted. These traditions and rituals and habits that we establish deepen a democratic culture and the democratic order. And I think today is a celebration. It must always be a celebration when we follow that sequence of a free election and a free election of a president and so on.
Yeah.
The second thing is South Africans have made a decision that no party is going to win a majority. And that is an instruction, as we said, to the South African people, from the South African people, that they want political parties to work together. They want political parties to be constructive. They want political parties to protect this democracy, but to always act in their interest so that the lives of people can improve. And so something like the GNU is not surprising given the electoral outcome.
Yeah, are you part of it? And I ask that because, you know, as you watch this formation of this GNU, its numbers tend to change a little bit. We're hearing the PAC has joined. Are you next to join the government of national unity? And if so, what do you want?
Look, what we've always set out to do is to do our work in Parliament, do it in good faith, and work with all political parties. We've got what we believe is a very reasonable and practical manifesto. We are in discussions with various political parties, including parties that are in the government of national unity, right? And we have not made
so you might
decision.
Join the government.
We may join the government of national unity, but we want to be where we can make an impact, by the way, because we also don't want to come along for the ride in anything. We don't want to be in Parliament just to be there for the ride and disappear for 5 years and never be seen again. So what we are going to do is to make an assessment of how we can make the best impact on behalf of South African voters. And
is there a department that you're eyeing then for you to be able to make that impact?
No, we were elected to go to Parliament as Mzansi. In the event that there is a responsibility that is in cabinet, that would come when it comes, but that really is not our focus. We want to go and do as good a job as possible in Parliament, because one of the things that came out during the campaign is that political parties and politicians disappear once the election is gone. They don't come and visit, they don't consult and so on. And one of the things we are going to do as Mzansi beginning in July is what we call people's assemblies. And we'll do them for the next 5 years to tell people what is going on in Parliament. Why is it important to you? What are your views? This is why it matters. And we take those views to Parliament, and they see us saying the things that they told us between elections, not just during the election campaign.
Yeah.
So we take our role in Parliament very seriously.
And how does that compare with the national dialogue, for instance, that the African National Congress has been calling for post this period?
Oh no, we would participate in a national dialogue, absolutely. Because again, like I said, South Africans want all of their leaders in politics and outside of politics to work together so that South Africa can be better. The last 15 years have been disastrous. And we cannot have a situation again where we spend more time throwing barbs at one another when the important work of the South African people needs to be done.
Do you believe that all the political parties are going to come to the party, if you will, in that way? I mean, what we saw with the first sitting of the National Assembly was the MK party not bringing its members of parliament into the ICC last week. And you talk about this idea of having, everyone recognizes the importance of getting the job done. And not focusing on positions. Are you confident that that's going to happen? Particularly when you've got a line that's already drawn. There seems to be a government of national unity versus a progressive caucus, for instance.
No, I think one of the things we must accept in a democracy is that some people will caucus differently. They will coalesce differently on the basis of whatever they believe. I think what is most important is that none of us, do anything that seeks to undermine confidence in the democratic system. That's really, really important. It is not good for any political organization to lie and mislead the South African people, to say and do things that suggest that critical democratic institutions are not credible when they are, and that sort of thing. I think we must all guard against that sort of thing. But it really is okay in a democracy for the EFF, MK party and so on to get together as a caucus. That's part of democratic activity. It is okay for parties to form the government of national unity. We're not on either side, right, at the moment, and that really is okay. What is important is that we go into parliament in good faith, we work hard, we try and serve the South African people, and we retain the dignity and respect and work ethic of Parliament and all public institutions.
All right. Well, we really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us.